Smith, Kevon, Owen, we're doing what we do, talking about counseling stuff, helping people out. Kevon, have you ever found yourself in your car at a stoplight or driving and just getting mad? Have you ever done that? Maybe not.
I mean, maybe. It's funny. I tell people whenever they're adjusting their testosterone that they'll see their rage start to present when you're in the car. But I think really more so than that, what's happening in those situations is your emotional pressure is building. It's another way that we describe anxiety. You're a metaphorical little teapot, and when you get all steamed up, then we hear you shout, there's a song, look
it up.
Google it. But you can only hold so much pressure before it comes out. And a lot of times whenever that starts to happen in my life, it's because I'm not doing anything to relieve that anxiety pressure as it's building.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes when you find yourself in stressful situations or situations that can cause irritability or frustration. It's very easy to be as human as you possibly can, which means to fail. It's because what happens is you're in that place, like Kevon said, and you're already pressured, and then you get into this situation where you feel like this shouldn't be happening to me. I've already got enough going on, and it's just a cherry on top, and it just blows it up. We have to. One thing I think is important is when we get in our car, we can use that time as we're driving to think differently. We can use that time to regain peace, to reset ourselves, to get going again. We don't have to get in our car and continue the way that we're feeling and the stress that we're feeling, because that's not going to help the situation. I think being in your car, especially if you're by yourself, you can either meditate, turn on some worship music, think about positive things, but don't let that situation in your car be something that makes things worse in your life and exacerbates the stress that you already have.
Every now and then I talk to people and they'll see me and they'll say, I'm so angry all the time. I'm just mad. Now, anger is the perception that you've been wronged, that something has happened that should not have happened. Is that the case? And if you look at it and there's no wronged, nobody did anything, there's no reason for me to be this mad, then that's called anxiety. That's pressure that's building. It presents in a car because that's a good place for it to present. It's a time to get isolated. And it's a time where people invite it, really, the way that they drive. Use your blinkers, people. What's wrong with you? It's out there, but at the same time, if I look at it and I recognize that I am building pressure, on a scale of 1 to 10, how anxious am I? If I'm at an 8, then it takes one dummy who doesn't know how to use their blinkers for me to hit a 10. But if I recognize I'm at an 8 and I start listening to my worship music, or I turn off the music and I'm present in the silence and I enjoy the fact that I'm not being like bombarded with sounds, maybe my 8 goes down to a 5, and then I can encounter 1 or 2 more dumb drivers before I become just erupting with anger.
Yeah, I understand that, because that's how I feel when I'm in the car. It's not fair, and I think that you hit on it. We have this idea that it's not fair. This guy shouldn't be driving this slow. But again, that's us putting our thoughts and our feelings and our interpretations onto other people, which that will make you miserable right there. You can't have expectations that everybody's going to think like you or do like you. And sometimes we have to stop and ask ourselves, what are we doing this for? One thing that I like to do to give people a tip is in the morning, if you're struggling with this, just tell yourself, make it a game to yourself that today I'm not going to get mad in the car no matter what happens. And put that on your mind. And what's funny is whenever somebody does something that would normally get you off, you're going to notice it and you're going to start laughing, because you're going to say, oh, I caught it. No, not today. You got to stay aware, because if you're not aware and you're just going on co-pilot all the time, your default natural responses are just going to kick in, and you're never going to get over this problem.
I've been married for a long time, and I've never yelled at my wife. I don't get angry. I don't react. Some guys do. I'm not judging you if you do, but that's not me. What I do was I used to get in the car and I get mad at the guys who don't use their blinkers or drive 1500 speed limit. And even though I've never yelled at my wife, I've yelled at the idiot drivers in the car with her in the car. And if I'm burning hot, everyone's going to feel it, even if I'm not venting it at them. If your kids are riding with you and you're a raging volcano, even though you're not pointing it at your kids, they're going to feel that. The people around you are going to feel it. There's a lot more reason to rein this stuff in than not. Well, it's just yelling at somebody who can't even hear me. Well, I like this video because this isn't one that most people seek counseling for, but maybe we should, because you don't want your kids' memories of you, your spouse's memories of you, being the fact that you're always yelling and angry, because most of the time that you're together is in transition. We're going from here to there, and I'm just mad in the car. Rein it in. It affects the people around you.
Yeah. When you're blowing up that volcano, other people feel the lava too. It's not just you. So if you're having issues with anger, road rage, anything that has to do with this topic, we help people out with that. Come